Alright, that is video number 2 of the topic trigonometry. In the previous video, we had talked about what is the concept of alpha, that is your base angle, and theta, and the importance of quadrants in the last video, right? In this video, we are going to discuss how to solve the exam style question or your book question. So I had written a question here that sine x is 2 upon 5, and you need to find out the value of theta in all the quadrants, and the range is defined. Alright, now there are few things that you need to highlight at the beginning of your question. At first point, you need to observe the unit. Right now we are moving in degree, right? So right now we are moving in degree because there is one more unit, that is radian. We are going to discuss further. So first thing, we need to observe the unit, that it is in degree or radian. For the next, you need to highlight this angle here. If it's written sine x, cos x, tan x, there is no number present. That means this won't affect your range. So second thing, you need to identify your range. Either it is changing or not. And how you are going to find out? Simply, if there is any number, with your angle, that means now it will affect your range. If there is one, like in this question, then it won't affect your range. Alright, so these are the two things that you need to observe at the beginning of your question. After that, there are certain steps to complete this question, and I'm going to write down the steps. For the first step, you need to find alpha, and I'm saying that you need to find base angle. Alright, how you find base angle? Simply shift your trigonometric function on the right side, so it will be alpha. When you are finding the base angle, it will be alpha equals to sine inverse of 2 divided by 5. Now sine inverse of 2 upon 5 is 23.57. Alright, so that is your alpha. The second thing, you need to highlight your quadrants. And how you are going to do that? Simply, you need to observe the sign present with your function right here. Now here there is no sign, that means that automatically we have a positive sign. So if we have a positive sign, that means either you are dealing in the first quadrant because sign is positive in the first one, as discussed in the last video, and sign is positive in the second quadrant, right? So there are two possibilities, that theta may lie in the first quadrant or theta may lie in the second quadrant. And how we defined it? We define it with the help of this sign. Alright, so once you identify your quadrants, after that, the third step, and it is for your benefit, you need to highlight base angle, or you need to draw roughly axis. What does it mean? If I draw the roughly axis here, so firstly I need to move either in the first or in the second quadrant. So I'm going to highlight alpha here, right? That is my alpha for the first one, and for the second one, that is my alpha, and the value of alpha is what? 23.57. That is my third step. And the fourth step, you need to highlight the theta. So for the first quadrant, theta starts from the x-axis. Since the range is positive, that means we are moving in a anti-clockwise direction. So theta for the first quadrant is equals to alpha, and that is 23.57. When we are going to find the theta for the second quadrant, so that is my second quadrant, and the value is what? 180 minus 23.57, right? If we are moving from this point to this point, we had covered the angle 180. We don't need this part because we need to stop right here. So we need to subtract 23.57 from 180. So the final values for theta is, the first one it's 23.57, and the next one is 156.42. These are your final answers. Now there is one more example, 10x is equals to minus 2 upon 7. It will be good if you pause the video at this time and try it by yourself and then see its solution. Alright, So the steps that I mentioned earlier, I'm going to solve with the same step. The first one is your base angle. So base angle is what? Base angle is tan inverse of 2 divided by 7. Keep in mind that we are not going to consider the sign of negative with my base angle, because this negative sign is only for quadrants. Alright, so the first step is you need to find out your alpha inverse of 10, and that is 15.94. that is your alpha base angle. For the next step, I have done the first one, base angle. For the next step, I need to highlight quadrants here. So the quadrants that I need to travel, 10 is negative. Either we are in second quadrant or we are in fourth quadrant. So that is my second step. Third step, I need to draw roughly axis in which quadrant my theta lies, either in the first, second quadrant or in the fourth quadrant. Now I need to highlight alpha for both cases. Alpha is 15.94, 15.94. Alright, that is the completion of step number 3. And lastly, I need to draw the theta. For the second quadrant, we know that that is my theta, right? So for the second quadrant, I'm saying that it's 180 minus 15.94, right? And for the fourth quadrant, that is my theta highlighted in red. So if I cover the whole circumference, whole circle, that means I had traveled 360, and I don't need that part 15.94, so I need to subtract it. Alright, so 15.94 subtracted from 180, you will get 164.05. Similarly, 360 minus 15.94, you will get 344.06. that is your theta.